The New York Knicks are preparing to make a tsunami-type offer to acquire Giannis from the Bucks. A tsunami-type offer. Does that, first of all, I mean, obviously, getting Giannis is a thing that basically any team should be interested in right now. He's one of those players that's still in his prime and is so dominant that he makes you a contender immediately. You know, so I understand it. If you can get Giannis, you give up whatever you have to give up for him. You know, where did my thing go? If you can get Giannis, you give up whatever you need to give up for him. So even though people are saying, you know, there's Knicks fans on Twitter that are like, if we trade for Giannis, our bench is going to be depleted. If we do this, if we do that, it's just not something you take into consideration. If you have the ability to get Giannis Antetokounmpo, you just do it. You look at the overall picture of we would be pairing Jalen Brunson with Giannis Antetokounmpo. And you know, if rumors are true that the Knicks were frustrated with Karl Anthony Towns, you know, lack of physicality and toughness, well, that fixes that, doesn't it? He's not the perimeter shooter that Karl Anthony Towns is, but he's definitely tougher, more physical, and a much better defender. I could see this happening. I know people are, you know, I was just in a Discord, and my people in the Discord were saying, you know, it's not going to happen. I could see it happening. I don't know though. The Knicks don't have a high draft pick. This would have to be a multi-team deal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the trade machine here and look at some of the trades that could happen. Here's the summary. Well, there wasn't yet. Right here. Here's the summary. By Google AI. The New York Knicks are heavily rumored to be in pursuit of a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, with some reports suggesting they are preparing a tsunami-type offer. They are widely considered the favorites to land Giannis if he were to request a trade. Widely considered the favorites, according to Bovada Sportsbook. The Knicks are the favorites in Vegas to land Giannis if the Bucks trade him. Potential trade scenarios could include a package involving Karl Anthony Towns or Mikal Bridges, along with draft picks and other assets. Does that move the needle for the Bucks? You know what I mean? You already have defensive issues. You have an aging star in Damian Lillard who doesn't play any defense. You have a coach in Doc Rivers who doesn't coach. Does adding Karl Anthony Towns do anything for the Milwaukee Bucks? I don't think it does. But the Milwaukee Bucks, again, could also be one of those teams that refuses to rebuild. And they could be like, listen, we're going to retool around who? Dame? The Bucks should go into full-on tank mode. That's what they should do. They should fire Doc Rivers. They should trade Damian Lillard for whatever they could get. They should trade Giannis for a haul, and they should go into full rebuild mode. But this is the issue that a lot of NBA owners have. They refuse to go into tank mode, and they'll try to rebuild 5 times, and then they'll accept the fact that they can't win any games and a rebuild. But I don't feel like the Knicks have good enough picks for it to just be a 2-team trade. You know what I mean? I feel like the Bucks would have to be getting a high lottery pick in return for Giannis to end up in New York. I don't think it can just be a Knicks-Bucks trade. Here's the New York Knicks draft picks. 2026 first-round pick. Okay, so say you give Towns and 2026 unprotected. That's not a very high draft pick, right? Well, this says this is protected 1 to 10, so that's not even that valuable. That's somebody else's draft pick, though, isn't it? Oh, no. They have their own, and then they have Washington's draft pick protected. So you could give them both of those. You could give them unprotected and Washington's protected 1 to 10. They don't have a first round pick then until 2028. You could give them unprotected 2028, but look at this. Their 2028 pick came from Philly. If Philly's 2028 first round pick, which would be protected for selections 1 to 8 and otherwise conveyable to Brooklyn, if Philly does not convey a first round pick to Brooklyn in 2027, if Philly has conveyed a first round pick to OKC by 2026, is conveyed to Brooklyn and is the third most favorable of Philly, Brooklyn's 2028 first round pick, Phoenix's 2028 first round pick, and New York's 2028 first round pick. New York is the most or second most favorable of the four, then Brooklyn will receive the most and third most favorable of the four. In other scenarios, Brooklyn will receive the two most favorable of these. If Philadelphia is conveyed and New York is less favorable than Brooklyn and Phoenix, then New York will receive the least favorable of New York, Brooklyn, and Phoenix. In all other scenarios, New York will receive the second most favorable of the three. Washington will receive the more favorable of its 2028 first-round pick and the least less favorable of Phoenix, Brooklyn, and Philly. If conveyed, and Phoenix will receive the less favorable of 1 and 2. Washington may swap the pick it received from Milwaukee or Portland via Brooklyn's right to swap Brooklyn or Philly for Phoenix via Brooklyn's right to swap Brooklyn or Philly, Phoenix, New York, and Washington's right to swap for Phoenix, Brooklyn, and Philly. Yo, do NBA teams go into like a mini courthouse with lawyers and shit to trade draft picks? Because how could you keep all this straight? How could you get a trade done with that many stipulations on a draft pick? That's crazy. But anyway, I went over to the trade machine. And we're going to look at some trades that people have put together on the trade machine to see what a Giannis to New York trade would look like. This one has Giannis going to the Bucks in a 5-team banger with Damian Lillard going to the Cavs and Karl Anthony. Yo, how did this... Bro, who spent 3 hours making this trade? OG Anunoby, Darius Garland, Alperen Sengun, Mikal Bridges, Jabari Smith Jr., Amen Thompson. What? Does this have... Oh, this has Kevin Durant going to the Rockets. Where are the other teams at? This has Kevin Durant going to the Rockets. And Jared Allen, Bobby Portis, Dean Wade, and a couple first-round picks going to the Rockets. This has the Rockets sending out their whole damn roster. Jabari Smith, Amen Thompson, Tari Eason, Cam Whitmore, Alperen Sengun. This has OG Anunoby and Darius Garland going to the Bucks. So the Bucks get a stacked team? OG, Darius Garland, Alperen Sengun, Mikal Bridges. I mean, that's not a stacked team, but that's a deep team. And then what looks like $1 billion first-round picks, and the New York Knicks get Giannis, Kuzma, Dylan Brooks, Pat Connaughton, Isaac Okoro. Yo, how did the trade machine say, yeah, you know what? That's a success. Yeah. That's... Let's see if there's any realistic ones in here, because that's just stupid. This has Giannis going to Detroit for... Asar Thompson and Tobias Harris. 4 players and 5 picks. Giannis to the Pistons. The Bucks get Tobias, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, Jalen Duren, and 5 first-round picks. Well, you're getting first-round picks from the Pistons, but you're giving them Giannis. So, how good are these first-round picks going to be? Yeah, that one ain't happening either. Let's see if we can find one that we think is actually a possibility. That's the same one there that was up. Okay, we already looked at that one. Let's see. Let's do like not a 17-team trade. Here is Giannis to New York. The Bucks get OG Anunoby, and the Lakers end up with Mikal Bridges. The Lakers get Mikal Bridges. The Bucks get OG Anunoby, Austin Reeves, Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride. They don't even get Cat. So the Bucks are giving up Giannis, and they don't even get Karl Anthony Towns. They get OG Anunoby and Austin Reeves and a couple first-round picks. Washington's protected top 10, protected 1 through 10 first round pick. 2026, other team gets rights to swap. That's not enough for the Bucks in a Giannis trade. And the Knicks get Giannis and Roy Hachimura. And all the Knicks gave up was OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, Deuce McBride, and draft picks. They're going to have to give up Cat, right? Yeah, that one doesn't really make sense either. I don't think. Let's look at a couple more to see if any of them make any sense. Knicks ready to offer Tsunami for Giannis. Cat to the Pelicans. The Bucks receive DeJounte Murray, Kelly Olynyk, Jordan Hawkins. I don't know who that is. Tyler Kolek. I don't know who any of these guys are. And the 7th pick in the draft from the Pelicans. That's, if the Bucks are going to rebuild, they're looking for a high draft pick. That's the first time I've seen actually a high pick in this year's draft in a trade like this. But that has that's the Bucks receiving the number 7 from the Pelicans, but the Pelicans are giving up number 7 and not even getting Giannis. The Pelicans give up number 7 and DeJounte Murray and end up with Karl Anthony Towns. I don't think I'm giving up 7, DeJounte, and a bunch of first round picks for Towns. And the Knicks get Giannis and Jose Alvarado. Like a variation of this, I think, could be realistic because the Pelicans are looking to trade players. I don't know. I don't think that one really makes any sense either. We're going to find one that makes some sense here. Giannis to the Cavs, that ain't happening. Well, I mean, the Bucks probably wouldn't. Well, I don't know, man. After the way the Cavaliers lost, they might be looking to split up Garland and Donovan Mitchell. Here we got the Knicks get Giannis, the Bucks get Cat. That's where we got to start. The Bucks have to get Cat in a trade. The Knicks have to get Giannis. The Bucks get Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, KJ Martin from the Jazz, and 4 first-round picks. One of them protected, one is a swap, and 2 of them are unprotected, 2026 and 2030 from the Knicks. The Knicks get Giannis, Bobby Portis, Walker Kessler, and a second-rounder from the Jazz. And the Jazz get Kyle Kuzma, Yusuf Nurkic, and a second. I think it is going to take a third team. The Jazz essentially trade Walker Kessler and KJ Martin for a second-round pick and Kuzma and Nurkic. This probably isn't realistic either, but this is, I think, the most realistic one that I've seen so far. But anyway, people expect Kevin Durant to be traded before the NBA draft. People might expect Giannis to be traded before the NBA draft. And if Giannis Antetokounmpo ends up on the Knicks, I will not be happy. Giannis to the Spurs, if any, it's very possible too. Very possible also. No shot Knicks are only giving up that. Well, you're giving up Cat, OG, and 2 unprotected first-round picks. What else are they going to give? Just offer the 3rd pick and Paul George for Giannis. That sounds too easy, but it's not that crazy. If you're the Bucks, if you're the Sixers, pairing Giannis and Embiid sounds insane, is probably a terrible idea. I would actually try to trade Embiid if I was trading for Giannis, to be honest with you. I would bank on, hey, Paul George is going to come back healthy this year. I'd rather pair Paul George and Giannis than Giannis and Embiid, personally. But if you're the Bucks, would you? I don't know, man. If I'm the Bucks and I can get Ace Bailey or possibly Dylan Harper, I might be considering it, man.